All right, traders from around the world, we have another special gift and a very special person. This is Endre Hoffmann, and Endre lives in Australia, so we have a little bit of a different time zone. He was very flexible with me on moving around this interview like 5 or 6 different times. So again, Endre, thank you for that immensely. And I love your smile. I love your enthusiasm. I love your energy. And you actually asked for this interview. You're like, hey, man, I want to help people remove their subconscious fears that they have about trading and about money. And I really think that I can help enrich lives with you. And that's exactly why we're here. So thank you for allowing me to do this.
Awesome. I love this experience. As I said, this is awesome what you're doing. Giving away something, how to trade, and also give mindset as well, is making a miracle. I've paid $30,000 for another company before, and I was stuck in unconscious blocks for
Yeah.
7 years, not making any profit.
Wow.
7. You see that right?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
You know what I found out?
What's that?
It was painful. It took me 7 years on my own. I found out I was trading not to lose money.
Mm.
Guess what happened?
You lost money.
All along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always a little.
You're focusing on it. And where your attention goes, focus flows or something like that, right?
Exactly. And this is where I started really seeing and understanding myself. And now I really teach all of my clients that it's 20% strategy, although it's really important, but 80% mindset. And the mindset is flowed, then
Yeah.
doesn't matter how good strategies are put in place, people can still mess it up. And you see that, yeah?
Yep, definitely. Absolutely. So the first mindset that's on the top of my mind right now that I would love to ask you about and get your information on is FOMO, fear of missing out. What's
Mm.
your advice or opinions on how to deal as a trader, as someone who loves the markets and loves actively trading? How do you or we deal with FOMO?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, the way I look at it, you got a market of abundance and opportunities. And if one is part of your Slack, then you open that Slack up and all you see is opportunities everywhere. So why would you run after something that has already escaped
Mm.
and just maybe just sit for a day or a day and a half and then you jump on something with you, the master, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to say that now, but like in the moment, it's so hard, man. Like you just like
Mhm.
you get this massive fear, like I gotta be in this. It's running, it's going up. I need to get in now.
Well, I would say then it comes back to discipline.
Mm.
And you know what discipline is.
Yep.
And I know your success is a lot to do with your disciplining yourself. And that's what you're teaching as well, yeah?
Absolutely, man. So what's your background exactly, Andre?
So, yeah, I would love to share a bit about me if you allow
Please.
me.
Absolutely.
It's just a few minutes so you have some, basic ideas. So I was born in Hungary, and first years of my life I had really difficult times with my father. Maybe that's where I sort of started to install some not the best and empowering beliefs about
Yeah.
life. And I've done everything I could to gain love and attention from my father and all the male figures in my family. I've basically become a national champion in basketball at age 12 and climbed Mont Blanc. I was running marathons, long distance swimming, everything. But I think I was looking for love in the desert. There was just, they couldn't give what they didn't have.
Yeah.
So I was always asking myself, was I ever good enough for my father and grandpa? And I was really kind of disconnected, comparing myself. But I ended up in banking and I was trading for a bank for a few years, fixed income, doing bonds and treasury bills. It was real fun. But I saw so many burnt out people in the industry.
Hmm.
I just could not see myself for another 20, 30, 40 years, although money was really good. So I went on this soul search, and I wanted to discover answers about my life. And basically, I started traveling. So first, I moved to Ireland. I gave up my job, started to work in a factory. That was a steep dive, I can tell you. Uh, shouldn't have done that, but well, it took me out of the country. And then along those years when I was pushing my physical limits to really find out about myself, I had a couple of near-death experiences, which were like enlightenment moments. And
Yeah.
then later I moved to New Zealand, where I worked in the corporate environment, and I made a new rule in my life. And this is about decisions again. Uh, I decided that I'll have 3 months off each year, and I will just travel another 3 months. I traveled over 50 or 60 countries, but that doesn't matter. I was always looking for spiritual places, gurus, and seek advice and insights about, what should I do with my life? How is the next step? And of course, I was never satisfied, and I was always getting either fired or had to resign from jobs because, as an employee, this 3 months off it just doesn't fit into their requirements.
Right. Right. Definitely.
But as I said, just give me a 2 minutes and I'll get you the rest. So I learned about a lot self-reliance, and I had resourcefulness. I changed jobs. I let go of people, positions, and what happened was I achieved a list of goals, and in 2008 I decided to go back to Europe. I started up a business, and basically that landed me in the personal development space. So I have been on events, weekend events, Tony Robbins, all the big names, T. Harvecker, John DeMartini, Brian Tracy, and I've uncovered a lot of unconscious sabotage patterns in myself. But it took me 20 years.
Sure.
When I came to Australia 8 years ago, I created another story. Now I have to work hard because I have two children. I fell into the trap again.
Yep.
And then I started the trading that took me 7 years to figure out that I was holding myself by working hard, one. Plus I was trading, taking away more time for the family. I was trading for not losing money.
Yep.
So yes, I learned the hard way. And basically recent years I realized I have to take all this knowledge and experience of my 15 years and give other people the breakthroughs in a matter of months or weeks. This is how I become this rapid change mindset expert to really give them the support that I didn't have.
Yeah, definitely. Rapid change mindset expert. I love that.
Yes.
I
So
love
that's
that.
me.
You're speaking my language, my man. And that's why I want to connect with you. When you said that, I was like, oh yeah, we got to have a chat.
Yeah. So basically, I became a transformational person in my family, and the biggest learning that I had is that your mindset or everyone's mindset is externalizing to the outside world. So if you have the wrong things in your mind or stuff that been installed early childhood that you could not actually have control of, then you're just living out the bloody program that doesn't serve you.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
we have to change that because that tells to people that people are living out from unconscious incompetence, meaning that they don't know those blind spots that are driving their behavior.
Agreed.
And that's the
Agreed.
most painful thing when you don't even know that you're doing something that causes you to fail.
Hmm. And I had a conversation with someone literally last night about this where I said, man, I'll let him uncover it for himself. But he's like, I think I'm just afraid of being greedy or being
Uh,
labeled as greedy. I was
yeah,
like, yeah. And I was like, that would make a lot of sense that you aren't holding winning trades and you're not keeping your profits and you're giving so much money back to the market. Even though he was profitable, Andre, he wasn't extremely profitable because he
yeah.
kept giving money back. And he's like, well, again, this was not my diagnosis. This was him saying, I think I'm just afraid of being greedy. I was like,
That is
that's
good.
absolutely it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, self sabotage has so many ways because, see, the mind is so clever and smart and logical that See, I always tell my clients that I respect you fully, but I have no respect to your problem and your stories.
Ah, I like that.
And that really
Yeah.
raises the eyebrows.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's a really good saying. I can respect that. What are some of the stories that you hear the most then that you don't have any respect for?
It's most of the time not good enough. There's a lot of things to do with not receiving love. Have you discovered that? People are not able to receive love. Maybe it's coming from an I'm not lovable belief. And
Okay.
of course, they are not receiving abundance because these two has a lot to do with each other. And then,
Ooh.
oh, and there's not smart enough. Uh, Basically, these ones, not good enough, not smart enough. And there are variations of these.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally it's something like I'm not enough in some
Yeah,
form or
that one.
fashion. But when you mentioned that the combination and the distinction of not being able to receive love and not being able to receive abundance, aka money from the market,
Yeah.
how would you say that someone can self-diagnose if that is happening to them?
Look, I think you heard this one. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So all areas of life are connected. So if you have relationship challenges in your life, like there was this client that I worked with, and we haven't even worked on money. We worked on the relationship with the father. He wasn't receiving the love in the form that he expected. So when that transformed, that relationship transformed, and they have kind of resolved 30, 40 years of grief and not resonating with each other. There's a great book called Five Love Languages to
Oh yeah.
really boost your relationship. I mean, you know that, but
Yeah.
for others listening, it's such a
Totally.
key book.
Totally.
So once that was transformed, this person just started to get money from all around the place.
That's beautiful. Okay. So let's do a quick fun one. What are my top two love languages? I know you've never met me ever, but if you had to guess.
Uh, Quality time and am I getting it right?
So I do love quality of time, but
Yeah,
that's not my number one or my number two. I would
definitely not gifts, and I don't think it's the words. Uh, must be touch and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kinesthetic, yeah.
Yeah. Physical touch. That's my number one for sure. Like if I see someone, that's why COVID's been a little bit tough on me because I'm just a hugger, you know? If I meet someone, I'm just hugging you, I'm touching you, I'm all over you. I
Oh
just
man,
that's how I express it.
I'll give you a hug now.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, that's so cool about your client where he resolved the challenges and the love and the relationship with his father, and then now he's able to receive more from. You didn't necessarily say the market; you just said money from everywhere.
And from the market, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he was also trading too.
of course, yeah.
Wow. 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 So do you mostly primarily work with traders, or do you work with anyone?
No, no, no. It's I'm see, mine works kind of exactly the same. Doesn't matter what profession you're doing.
Ah.
And I thought, well, if I'm in this community, I might as well just have more people who are in my environment. But uh, here is, let me give you an example. I love
Sure.
this.
Sure.
If you are a supercar and you are a supercar and I am a supercar, then you know these V8 supercars, they going around, 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 and they've got a whole team to have a top level performance. They have, one guy is looking at the guy's hydration, air pressure, oil, timing, I don't know what else. And
Yep.
if you want to perform at the highest level, you want to have the best specialists and mentors around you. So I don't know if it's in your case, chiropractic, nutritionist, sport person,
Yeah.
or mindset mentor, and then you could have the output that you really want and
Yes.
get the best results.
Yes.
And if this resonates with someone, I want to be on your team. You may not work more than a few sessions or may not see each other for a year after that because I don't want you to come back to me. I want to have your issue resolved. And maybe at the next level, there will be more layers of the onion where you bump up against something that is limiting you. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And my wife, when she works with a lot of her clients, she says, I might be your first or I might be your last or somewhere in the middle. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be your only one. That's the point. And I say the same thing to people as well. Like, I don't want to be your only mentor. There's gonna be other people that you're going to learn from, and they can be people in real life trading. And that's why I do these interviews, because I want people to know how an amazing community of people that we have. I mean, you trade alongside of us on a weekly basis, right? You're someone in the community that people can reach out to and just talk to and connect with. And I mean, you're in Slack all the time.
I love
So
it. I
yeah.
love this community. I love trading. I hated it when I kept losing money. This is
Yeah, of course. Of course.
so yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, have you run marathons? Have I heard that right the other day?
I did. Yep.
Oh wow, then you're a tough man. I my ones were run without physical preparation. I was stupid. I was actually challenging myself to see if my mind can move my body till the end of the.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was bad. I've done it 3 times.
Yeah. But you did it though. That's the thing. Your mind accomplished it. Now your ankles and your calves are mad at
It
you,
was
right?
it was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also have. I just wanted to give out a couple of things about me more.
Please.
Go to Visit Orphans Today page, which is a kind of orphanage project for people to give direct. This
Okay.
is a non-local project. Means if you have orphans around you or orphanages, or when you're traveling and there are orphanages, then I would love you to give what you can.
Can you
That
share
means,
that website? Can you share your screen and go type it into the web browser for me?
yeah. Second.
So it'll be the green share button right below our faces.
Yeah, I'm just putting it in now. I prepared pretty good with Orphans Today. It's called Visit Orphans Today on Facebook, and I will go into share screen and look for page.
That's perfect. Thank you. I'm just
So that's what it looks like, and I really put like as many orphanages as I come across myself. When I travel with my family, we
yep.
just ask where is one. We go and see them, and we give love, attention, and sometimes we ask for a shopping list to make sure that the money is not ending up in someone's pocket. There,
Ah.
there
Yeah.
can be some
Sure.
third world countries where it's a bit of a sensitive thing, giving money.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So this is an organization that you work closely with?
It is my Facebook page, and unfortunately, it has not taken off the way I wanted it to take it big and have every orphanage on the planet, registered and have all those experiences. There's a few up there. I would love to have more involvement and more people to be part of it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. That's I will make sure to connect with you on that site. And that's your Facebook page that you built.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's wonderful, man. And when you mentioned earlier about the high performance machines and spending time around optimizers and mentors and guides and coaches, I mean, that's really what amplified my cerebral intensity and just overall trading capacity was doing therapy sessions with coaches and
Yeah.
therapists that I did not know I would need help with. Uh, you know,
Definitely.
just I worked with Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't know if I was an alcoholic or not. I used to drink excessively, but I was like, let me go through these steps regardless because I haven't done it. And one of my beliefs is if I haven't done something, it's because I'm afraid of it. Therefore, I must go do it. So I worked with all levels of therapists from all aspects, from all backgrounds, from all degrees, from all angles, just to kind of learn about what they do and learn a little bit more about myself. And that was so helpful for me.
Yeah, I mean, what I teach and I spread the word every time. There was a video that I put up a few days ago. Is what are you avoiding in your life? What are you afraid of? That's where you have to go.
Oh, yes, that's where
Take
you
it to
have
the next
to.
level.
You
Have
have
to.
to. What was something that you were afraid of for a long time that you recognized and you did it anyway? And what was the outcome?
Public speaking was life and death situation for me all
Really?
over school. Yeah, I could get to university without actually standing out there. I somehow felt sick, didn't show up on the day. I had fantastic, I had fantastic subconscious strategies, very logical, great reasons. How come I was not speaking public? Painful.
Interesting. Yeah. How'd you
And
overcome
that
that?
and that took me, I knew I had to do it. And I was, see, when I landed in the personal development stage, then I knew that this thing I was avoiding all the time. And at that time, it took my business to an absolute next level where I could present publicly. I'm still kind of edgy to do it, but I know this would be again in this business, again, live events and do, I want to do like Facebook, not Facebook, maybe it will be live events where I do some breakthroughs right there on the spot. And when you do that with someone, like exactly with your webinars, that 30-40% of the audience is getting some of that breakthrough because
Yeah.
most people have the same issues,
Yep.
challenges.
Yep. Well,
Mm.
that's great, man. That's great because now that leads me to think about ways that we can work together in webinars and classes that we could build together in the future. Because you mentioned earlier, it's 20% strategy and the other 80% is going to be mindset and mental to help us get through things. And we've all heard that. We've all heard that. But the mental parts that people are struggling with, it's those really, really random moments and definitions and stories and laws that you don't think you have. For example, I had a client, Andre, who said that if she made more than $100,000, that she was greedy. I was like, where'd you get that rule from? You know,
Yeah,
like where? And she's like, I don't know. I have no clue. I was like, well, meditate on it because how much are you making right now in your life? And she's like, $80,000 a year. And I'm like, how much do you want to make? She's like, $250,000. And I'm like, why don't you? And she's like, because I'll be greedy. I'm like, bingo.
yeah.
So if we remove that hurdle, the chances of you making $250,000 a year will increase drastically.
Mm. Yeah, what I do is kind of rapid change, so speed up that release progress of
Okay.
that belief. So I call this root cause kind of technique where I really open that mind, that subconscious mind, when I work with that person and get back to that first event when the decision was made and look at that event from a multiple perspectives. And if that person was unconscious or that belief was unconsciously installed at the time, because most of the time it's to do with early years of life,
Sure.
then that person has now at age 20, 30, 40, the mind of an adult and the experience of an adult and wisdom of an adult to have a look at that again and get the learnings. And of course, the mind, the funny thing what I found is subconscious mind works on like a like a scale. Yeah, and like you stack up plenty of learnings on one side, and the mind just says, I'll just let this go.
Mm,
And the person will not go back there again. Because the mind actually wants to help us. Subconscious mind has the wonderful thing. It wants to serve. but it is a bit of a hard learner, I could say. He
Yeah.
loves to be right and loves to hang on to those decisions that will keep you alive,
Yep.
keep you safe.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
What are some of the hurdles that your clients have regarding being right? How do you help someone go back in time and remove certain hurdles or blocks about them constantly needing to be right?
the way I do it normally, like limited beliefs have a decision prior to that belief. Say, I'll give you an example. So somebody decided I'm not good enough because they were maybe humiliated in front of a class of kids, and that decision was made in their mind. Then the paradigm is kind of playing out all their life. It's a repeating pattern. And when it started to play, then it became a belief because, of course, the person has started to experience all events congruent to that belief system or paradigm in their life and caused those events and attracted them. And of course,
Yeah.
the outside world has confirmed
That it happened. Yep.
the paradigm. So it's an absolute catch 22. And
Interesting.
and what I do when I go root cause techniques, that I have these events on a shelf of the mind, and I want to rip out the first one. Not really rip it out. I want that person to have a good look at it from before the event, after the event, and above the event, and really get the learnings. And if that was a wrong conclusion, which is most of the time, they may be able to just change that decision and have an empowering event in their past. Once that changed, you know that there is time doesn't really exist. They have a new paradigm. So the present and
Right.
the future starts
Right.
to shift.
Right. Right. And once that shift happens, that's where massive change comes from. It can be overwhelming sometimes. And for a lot of people,
Yeah,
it can almost be like, it can almost feel like a panic attack. But it's like when that
definitely.
when that moment comes in, it let all the emotions out, celebrate, cry, jump,
Yeah,
run around, do push-ups. Like you're gonna feel this insane amount of energy just flood through your body. And sometimes you won't know what to do with it.
definitely. Like Jeremy, I could see people, I call this the wounded stage.
Yeah.
People are unaware of having wounds and making life and trading decisions out of wounds.
Oh,
And once they let it go, then slowly or faster, it starts to all shift.
yep.
And that awareness and finding them is so important, because without awareness, they can't fix it until they figure it out.
Now, how do you get people in that state? Is it meditative state? Is it some type
Out,
of hypnotherapy?
uh, it is a bit of a creative imagination. It's called timeline therapy, and it's NLP based. So I'm not a magician.
Yep.
I have a well proven process. And see, Einstein said the problems that you have is problems with your imagination. And
Mm,
I would go even further. Like, if the problem is in your imagination, then maybe I am a practitioner. I should bring you into an imaginative, creative process to have a new level of thinking and resolve that issue with some learnings. And also, because normally to that event, there is a lot of emotions, emotional charge on it, and that it might be, repeating. And at the same time, when I do this, I will release the emotion. And as you said, that breakthrough is just freeing life force. People get healthier, they get more energy. I had someone who started to lose weight.
yeah, of course, because their whole body just performs optimally at that point.
It was like she was hanging on to fear. Well, she had a trauma at an early age, which I understand, but hanging on to that fear and actually masking that pain,
Yep.
the fear that she was kind of storing in the stomach, and eating, emotional eating, has resolved.
Wow. Good for her. How do you
So,
find most of your clients?
well, I mean, I love, this is where I find myself. This is true joy to see these transformations and the big reliefs,
Yep.
because the baggage is so heavy to carry. And once they realize there is a baggage, because that's my first session, find
Right.
find the baggage, find those beliefs that are holding you back, or these invisible walls that you have built, and drop the bloody baggage, and then you can move on.
That's it.
So it is a shift,
Yep.
and that's what I love the most. This is the most satisfying thing for me, to
That's beautiful, man.
to shed those old identities
Right.
and have this person. I mean, I'm gonna be spiritual, but it's a nirvana. People can start to believe that they can change, which was possible before.
Yes. Yes.
Just they never thought that they would ever get out of the hole that they have been digging for themselves. Sorry to say.
Yeah. No, correct. Correct. And that's why I love what you said earlier is like, I love you, but I don't love your problems. um, that you do dig your holes for yourself. And I want everyone to know, like what you mentioned earlier, when you said about us recreating every issue that we have, when you remove an obstacle, it doesn't just go away forever. That particular obstacle might, but it can always recreate itself. It can always reformat. It can always change. It can always shift. Or there's just another one that springs up somewhere else because you get other outside biases, you get other influences, you get other fears and other pressures that begin to build. You have other life circumstances that begin to change as well. And so this is a constant and continuous process, would you say?
Absolutely. Like the way I look at it, they have certain problems, and you said this is so key that some people are afraid to let go of the problem because then they don't know who they are. They identified with that issue,
Yep.
problem, challenge, emotion, the angry person who's looking for a way to get angry
Yeah.
because they focus is on, that orange example. When you squeeze the
So
orange,
true.
there is always orange juice. There's nothing else in it.
It's so true.
And here is what I want. I want that person to be committed because otherwise I don't work with anyone. But once that commitment is done, they made a decision, time and money, it is not so difficult to let it go. And then the anger shaft with all of those events just fall away from the person. They
Yeah.
have a new life. So the way I look at this is that the wound itself could become working on this best version. The best version has a lot of energy, creativity, and from there, it's just one more step to find mission, life purpose. It's exactly where you are now.
Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. My boy giving you some brain food right there. Some cerebral explosions going on in my brain because that's fantastic, man. That's really, really fantastic. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with me, and thank you for sharing that with all the real life traders out there that are watching you and listening to you. I'm gonna have you share all your contact information, guys. If you want to reach out and connect with Endre, he's also in Slack. But I'll give you in the description box below in the email and the YouTube. You'll get all of his contact information as well if you want to reach out and connect with him. Dude, thank you so much for doing this with me, my man.
One last question. I
Yeah,
heard
please.
in one of your videos you said you are sneezing every morning. Is that right?
I do. I have a random like sneeze that happens every morning.
Oh, I want to give you a free session. I really want to figure out the root cause of that because I think we are in for a surprise. Because your mind has recorded something
Definitely. Oh, for
that
sure.
creates that experience for you. I would love to. I would
Yeah.
love to have a look at it for you.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll definitely connect on that. Also, my sense of smell. I don't have any sense of smell. I worked with a few healers and I've actually had surgery as well and they haven't been able to fix it. And so I don't know if that's a physical thing or if it's a mental block that I'm having as well, but I'd love to connect with you on that, man. We'll see what we can do.
There's nothing to lose. Like, let's have a go and then see what we find.
Done.
Because once we can kind of open that unconscious mind where you may not have access to, like, no people, like most of the people have no rapport. These two minds are just not working well with each other. And see, my job is to align these two and get them into synergy and pull you towards that goal or vision that you have.
Yes. Yes. I love to be pulled towards my visions, man. So I love connecting with people that can help me do that. So thank you, brother.
All
Thank
right,
you
awesome.
so much. Yep, I really appreciate your time, and again, for all those who are watching the recording and watching this interview, feel free to connect with Andre. His information's in the description box. And my dear friend, thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight.
Awesome. It is an honor, and I hope to help and support your community in every way I can.
Thank you, brother.